Hello, welcome to the TJ13 TV roundup of the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The surprise, classic, competitive season continues. What a race! Here's what the experts thought.
Stormy weather here in the UK, and no doubt the same can be said at Milton Keynes. What a race, and in many ways I think we should thank Pirelli for that one, because they provided a tyre that the teams just simply couldn't get on top of. In many ways we've criticised them for making them too durable, but equally that's kind of lulled them into the teams into a false sense of security, because they think they can go one stop but they can't always switch them on in those cooler temperatures. So yeah, that's made for a very exciting race.
Yeah, and it seems like Pirelli are up to their old tricks again, like they were three seasons ago. Tyres too conservative. You should be not going to a circuit where there is a tyre that can run up to half distance, because it's just going to force one-stop strategies, or at least one tyre that can only do that. The soft tyre, he would have done 100 laps today. You know, we should have had the Hypers, the Ultras and the Super Softs. That would have been the right selection for Baku. As it turned out, it didn't matter, but, you know, somewhere a bit more like Monza, where it can be a procession, they better get it right.
Baku, lots of talking points from this race, and what a race it was. 2018 delivered the same excitement as what 17 did, so it really is turning out to be one of the most excitable tracks on the calendar. But Red Bull, the big talking point, I don't blame really either driver. To be honest, I blame the pit wall. They should have got involved early in the race, early doors, when Max barged his way through, and from that point onwards the two just compromised each other's race. When they did hit the straps and get the tyres running properly, they showed good pace, so they just pushed themselves back into the pack, and like, let's be honest, contact was, you know, it was going to happen at some point. Two big egos, a lot to prove, and for me the pit wall should have controlled that.
Okay, so in the Red Bull blue on blue, I'm going to give Max the benefit of the doubt. He made a move to the left, and there just wasn't enough room for Ricciardo to get up that inside without putting his wheel over the white line. And he was already into the back of Verstappen. Whether Verstappen twitched a little bit back to the right or not, he's Danny Rick for me. Sorry, Honey Badger.
In terms of Max and Dan from Red Bull, many pundits have laid the blame on Ricciardo for that incident. The race stewards deemed it a racing incident, which is quite refreshing. But also, you know, you could argue that Verstappen really did make his move very late, and it did seem akin to weaving just as you're coming up to the braking area. It's interesting really, because somebody who's always criticised weaving and that kind of thing on Channel 4 punditry is David Coulthard, and yet he was the first to point the finger at Daniel Ricciardo. So a little bit unusual. Perhaps he's a Max fanboy, I don't know, but if I was going to lay the blame, I would say it was probably about 70% Verstappen for moving so late, whilst Ricciardo was committed. And you know, we praise Ricciardo for these bold and usually clean overtake manoeuvres, but this one didn't pay off, unfortunately. I think Red Bull, yeah, it was great that they allowed their drivers to race, but equally they weren't being very smart. They had a fast car on Sunday and they didn't get the chance to use it, because whilst the two drivers were squabbling over position, the front runners were moving ahead.
So Mercedes must be pretty smug with themselves after the first four races, where they are in the championship. Obviously Lewis now heads of drivers, the second in the constructors, but they've got to be pretty happy with that, let's be honest. Party mode, I think they left it in Australia. What's happened there? The engine advantage has dissipated, the tyre problems are well publicised, the chassis doesn't seem to be working in harmony with those other components as it has in previous years, so big pressure I think on Mercedes, and they've got to be happy with where they are after four races. Look forward to their upgrade, otherwise as soon as the other two teams, Red Bull and Ferrari, start getting their pace consistently and the right calls at the right time, then Mercedes will be falling backwards.
like I said last time out in China, Ferrari strategy woeful. I mean, you know, you couldn't have actually set out today to try and hurt your own drivers as much as Ferrari had done. Right, so we're at a circuit where 2, 3, 4 safety cars is eminently possible. We've got one on the first lap, and you put Kimi on the hardest possible tyre, knowing there could easily be another safety car, which would then mitigate his ability to run to the end of the race anyway. So it had to be ultras for Kimi. Why did they put him on the soft tyre? The hardest tyre. And then Seb, you know, he's leading the race by 10 seconds from Bottas and another 7 seconds back to Hamilton. You know, Hamilton pits and puts the slowest tyre on that Merc are not really that good at running. And then they use Vettel to cover him off and put him on the slowest possible tyre. There was only one thing going to happen. Bottas was going to go and go and go, put the ultras on and win the race. And that's what would have happened, other than for a little bit of carbon fibre. Ferrari, stop being so Italian.
Disappointed for Williams that 2 drivers didn't finish in the points. Obviously we know what happened with Sorokin early stages of the race. I think they were much improved this weekend. They had the pace to shut us all up, basically, those who have been dissing Williams. And great drive from Lance to bring it home. Yes, there was a fair few cars that were out of contention by that point, but he brought it home. He had a clean race. Well done, Williams. Finally off the mark.
And who'd have thought a Sauber ahead of a McLaren? Alonso somehow managed to bag points in his favourite 7th spot, which is incredible because really the McLaren car, although probably a little bit better than last year, isn't a lot better. But yet he still makes these positions up and bags the points and takes the luck when it comes his way. So hats off to Alonso on that one. But yeah, Leclerc, what a drive! I mean, took full advantage of the confused race, and you know, you wouldn't have thought this kid was a rookie from that drive. Fantastic effort, well done.
Remember this? Yeah. Turkey, 2010, 2 Red Bulls, Mark Webber, Sebastian Vettel, crashing into each other. What a great circuit that was, by the way, Herman. Your best, I think, because you can't really count Baku as a Tilkedrome. It is a street circuit. Anyway, today, Sebastian needs to be giving a bit of this to himself. What was he doing? Turn 1, a handful of laps to go. Car that's been quicker than the Merc all weekend. Why, Seb? Why?
In sports cars, I was a big fan of Brendan Hartley, and I still think he's a very good driver. But this season he's really struggled a little bit and seemed a little bit out of his depth, which is a shame because I do think he is a quality driver. But he has made some silly mistakes, really, and you know, I know he's quicker than that. So, you know, somebody I was speaking to about him did mention a valid fact. In WEC, 6-hour race or even a 24-hour race at Le Mans, you can make a mistake and make up for it. Unfortunately, in a 1.5-hour race in F1, you make a mistake and it really punishes you for the rest of the race. So perhaps that's the difference, and perhaps that's something he needs to learn and learn fast.
Brutal Baku, that's what I say. I mean, K-Mag, he rammed Gasly into the wall on the restart. Fantastic stuff. In enhancing his reputation as the K-Mag, the one who'll F you up. And Sorokin getting 3 grid place penalty for the next race for his assault on Hulk. I think Nico probably was as much to blame, but that's the way it goes.
You've got to give McLaren some some reps, I suppose. They're always there, aren't they? They're always in the points. 2 drivers again in the points. Look at the constructors' stand-ins. They're in there. They're up there. Why? They've been nowhere all weekend. Struggling with the car. Bad feedback from the drivers. Technical directors on his bike. But they're up there.
One last one before I go to bed. Roman Grosjean.
Zigzag, zigzag, boom, crash. Oh dear, what a shame. In the wall, behind the safety car.
Roman Jensen Grosjean. So Mr. No Grip has gone to becoming Mr. No Contact for this weekend, which results in 0 points. So come on, mate. There's probably started the season with the 4th or the 5th best car, and you've got 0 points. Error after error is started to crop into your game. Pressure's on, buddy. And if I was Gene Haas, I'd be looking at options for next year. Or even, can I put this one out there, a mid-season replacement.
So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, do us a favour by liking it and subscribing to the channel, please. And check out thejudge13.com, the main site, for daily F1 news, opinion and inside whispers. See you next time.